Hi, boys and girls. My name is Miss Jennifer, and I'm a teaching artist in the PACE Art program. I am here today to do a fun art lesson with you. I am so glad that you could join me. Today, we will be doing a lesson that has to do with science and language arts. We'll be going over a few things that you have learned with your classroom teacher, and you will be learning a few new things with me today. For this lesson, we'll be talking about severe weather, ways to stay safe, and we will be talking about an artist and his famous painting. So, boys and girls, the supplies that you will need today will be a white sheet of paper, a variety of crayons, and today we even have a variety of markers. Just make sure that you have either a black or a brown marker also. We will be using glue today. We will also be using a piece of construction paper today. We will be using lines, shapes, and colors for our lesson today. We will also learn how to draw spirals in 2 different ways. We will also learn how to take those spirals and turn them into swirls. We will learn what is a collage, and we will incorporate a collage into our drawing today. We will be drawing with both markers and crayons. We will be using construction paper, and we will be gluing it onto our picture today. So as you can see here, boys and girls, I have several different pictures, and all of them have to do with something that you have been learning in your classroom. Does anybody know what these are pictures of? Well, if you said they are pictures of bad weather, you are correct. Good job. We know, first of all, that if we have really dark clouds, then something is probably getting ready to happen. What do you think that might be? Well, if you said a thunderstorm, good job. Now, a thunderstorm is really bad or severe weather. And so our thunderstorm happens when the clouds get really dark, and then we start seeing this. Does anybody know what this is called? How about you tell your friend? Oh, I heard the answer. If you said lightning, you are correct. Now, we also have something else that we cannot see, and that is thunder. So we see the clouds, we hear the thunder first before we see the lightning. And these are called lightning bolts. Good job. Now, if it's going to storm, we're probably going to have lots of rain that looks like this. What is something that you could use to keep yourself safe when it is raining? What kind of gear? Gear. Well, how about an umbrella? How about a raincoat? Maybe even some boots to help you. Now, if the weather is really, really, really bad, do you think that we should be walking in the rain? No, we should not. We should go to a place that is safe. Maybe like inside of our house to stay safe. All right, so let's go on, and now let's look at this kind of weather. Does anybody know what this might be? Well, if you said a tornado, you are correct. Good job. It is a tornado, and what happens during a tornado is the wind gets really, really, really strong, and the air starts kind of going up and down, and as it goes up and down, it makes this spinning wind right here that is our tornado. Tornadoes are extremely dangerous. If we see a tornado or we hear about a tornado, we need to get into a small place, maybe even under our desk, to make sure that we are safe. All right, so sometimes we also get some of this. What do you think this might be? If you said snow, good job. Now the snow already fell and it's just sitting on a road, but we know that when it snows, it is very cold and we have snowflakes that fall from the sky. Now the snowflakes kind of are small when they start out, but then they stick together and they get bigger and bigger, and that's when we see the really big white fluffy snowflakes falling from the sky. Now, if we have snow, sometimes sometimes we'll have also, it's called sleet, and that's sort of like frozen rain. We could also even in a thunderstorm, we could have something that looks like this. Miss Jennifer, that looks like golf balls. Actually, this is called hail. Can we say it together? Hail. These are big chunks of ice that fall from the sky. And sometimes this hail can get really, really big. Now, if we have hail that is falling, that is another reason that we have to stay safe and get inside, because these can actually hurt us if they hit us. Now down here I have a picture of something that we have here in Louisiana a lot. This is a what, boys and girls? A hurricane. Let's say it together. Hurricane. We know about hurricanes here in Louisiana. That's just a lot of wind and water that sort of mix together, and when it starts to come on land, we see the trees blowing, and we see that heavy surge of water going really, really high. During hurricanes, most of the time, the safety that we need to get to is maybe another area, like maybe a different state or a different city, where we can get completely away from a hurricane. So as you can see, these are different kinds of weather that you have been learning about in your classroom. We're going to be making a picture today that has to do with all of this severe weather. If you look here, we're going to be making a picture that looks similar to this. We're going to be learning about an artist and a famous work of art that he did in just a few minutes. But as you can see, in the sky here, I have severe weather. What would you think this part would be? If you said a dark cloud, you're right. How about this? What could this be? How about you tell your neighbor what you think this might be? I heard the answer. It is lightning. Now, what came before that lightning? We heard something. The thunder. Good job. And here we have very strong wind in our picture. And so we're going to be making a picture today that has to do with weather. All of these different kinds of storms and bad weather. Now that we've talked about different kinds of weather, I want to introduce you to an artist. And this artist is named Vincent Van Gogh. And here is a picture of when Vincent was a young man. Here is a picture of when he was older. Vincent liked to draw pictures of people, and this is one he made of himself. Now, Vincent Van Gogh is a Dutch artist, and he started drawing when he was a very young child. He later in life discovered painting. Vincent didn't think that he was the greatest artist, and he only had one person that was interested in his art when he was alive. Well, little did he know that now he is one of the most famous artists of all time. Vincent Van Gogh is an important artist also because he started a new kind of art. He started Impressionism, and basically what that means is when you use small little bits of color next to each other when you're painting, that is called Impressionism. If you look carefully here, you will see that he has little bits of color right next to each other, and it looks sort of like little dashed lines. That is Impressionism. Now, Vincent Van Gogh created this painting, and this painting is called, does anybody know what this painting is called? It is called Starry Night. Sometimes we see this picture up in maybe a doctor's office or a hospital or maybe even in a business place. Now, this picture right here that Miss Jennifer is holding is not the real painting. This is just a copy, or what we call a reproduction. We use reproductions in teaching so that boys and girls get a chance to see what the art looks like on a larger paper instead of just a copy that we print out. You will see that in this picture Vincent Van Gogh used lots of little patches of color, little dash lines right next to each other, and that is called Impressionism. We will be creating this picture today, but we will be making it our own way, and we will be adding some of the severe or bad weather that we talked about today. And we will also be making our house on our picture to have a place to stay safe in the severe weather. And so what we're going to do is we are ready to start drawing. I want you to go ahead and get your crayons and get your markers ready so that we can begin our Starry Night picture. Right, so I have my marker and I'm going to draw with black, but if you decide to draw with brown or other colors, that is fine with me. The very first thing that we're going to do today is we are going to draw a tree, because in Starry Night by Vincent Van Gogh, we will see here that there is a very large tree. That's probably like maybe a cypress tree or something like that. And it doesn't matter what side you put it on. I'm going to practice down here first, and I'm going to simply just use sort of my wavy lines and my zigzags, and I'm just going to kind of connect it together, just kind of that kind of shape. So I think I want to do mine here, and there I go. That will be my tree. All right, so we have our tree, and then the next thing that we want to do is we want to put the ground part of our picture. For the ground, I think I want to put some grass. You could use your zigzag lines to do that if you want, and I would go all the way across, sometimes maybe making some a little taller than others. Alright, so now we want to focus on the sky part of our picture, and we talked about bad or severe weather, like a rainstorm, thunderstorms, and even rain. Those are all things that we could add to our picture. So I think that I'm going to start off first by showing you how to draw lightning. Now, I'm going to draw a few different things before you start putting them in your picture and decide what you want to add to your picture. So if I want to draw lightning, I would draw my zigzag. Now remember, you're watching Miss Jennifer. We're not drawing quite yet. I would use my zigzag to make that bolt of lightning. Maybe I would go like this, sideways, with my zigzag. Because it doesn't matter which direction we put our zigzag line, it's still going to be a zigzag. And then maybe right next to it, I can do the same thing. So I'm sort of repeating it, and then I'll connect it together. And that is like a bolt of lightning. So we have lightning. Now, if we look down here and it is raining, maybe you want to add rain to your picture. So just watch me. To make rain, you kind of would start at the top, and we're going to go around and down and back to the top. So that made a good job, raindrop. Now, what if our picture might have a snowstorm? Well, we could make snow. There are a couple different ways that you could do it. You could make a circle and you could color it in with maybe like blue if you would want. Or we could also use lines. So we could use a straight line going from top to bottom, which is our vertical line. We could put a line going from side to side, which is our horizontal line. And we could put a diagonal going this way, so that's our diagonal going this way, and then a diagonal going that way. And it kind of looks like it could be a snowflake. Now, let's go back to our Starry Night. And if we look in the sky part of our picture, what do you think this right here might be if we're thinking about bad weather? Well, it could be wind. Maybe a thunderstorm or a rainstorm might have been on its way. And so here I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to show you how to make a spiral. Now, spirals are super fun. There's two ways that we can make this spiral. So watch me first. If you start in the middle with just a little dot, what we're going to do is we're going to make a circle. But instead of closing our circle, we're going to keep it open. And then we're going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. So watch Miss Jennifer. I'm going to start in the middle, and I'm going to pretend that I'm making a circle. But my circle won't connect together. Instead, I'll just keep getting bigger and bigger. Just like that. And spirals are so much fun to make. I'm going to draw another one here. Here's my circle. Remember, I'm not closing it. I'm going to get bigger and bigger. And there we go. Now, that's one way to draw a spiral. When you start from the middle and you get bigger going out. But there's another way. You can start by going big on the outside and smaller and smaller and smaller on the inside. So that's two different ways that you can make a spiral. Now, I talked about a swirl. A swirl is a little different, but what we could do is we could actually pretend that we were starting to make a spiral, but instead we can kind of stretch out that line and then curl it again so that we have our spiral and sort of a swirl, because a swirl can also look like wind. All right, are you ready to start drawing? All right, let's go back to our drawing. So you should now have a tree and some grass. And I think that I am going to change my markers. So let's draw with markers first, and then we can come back and we can color after with our crayons. So what I want to do now is I want to work on my wind, and I want my wind to sort of be this gray color. You can pick the color that you want. So let's get started. We talked about Van Gogh using small patches of color, like these little dashed lines, very close together. Now, one thing that he did is he didn't just put like one color, but sometimes he went back and he put small dashes or patches of color right next to it, and that's what we're going to be doing today. I'm going to start off and I'm going to make my spiral. I want to start off with my first spiral where I start on the inside and I get bigger as I go on the outside. So I'm going to start it about right here. All right, so instead of, let me show you, instead of drawing my spiral like this, instead what I'm going to do is I'm going to break up that line, so I'm drawing it like dashes. All right, so here I go. So I'm starting in the middle and I'm pretending that it's like a straight line. Instead of connecting it back together, I'm going to get larger and larger and larger. All right, good job. And I'm going to do it again here. Start in the middle, dash, dash, get larger and larger and larger. Now, if you need to put a circle in the inside to kind of help you go around that circle and get bigger, you can do that. Now, I want to make one that is going from large to small, and I'm going to make that one, I think I'm going to make it right here. So I'm going to start with large. Notice it's really big. And now I'm going smaller onto the inside. And there I go. There I have my spirals. Now, the next thing that I want to do is I want to make some swirls. And I'm going to change my marker to a blue marker. And I'm just going to use my dash lines. And I'm going to sort of stretch out my dashes. And those are my, what are they, boys and girls? Do you remember? They are my swirls. Good job. All right, so now I have my spirals and my swirls. Now I want in my picture to have some rain. And so I'm going to again make my raindrop starting from the top and back around just like this. So here's one raindrop, two raindrops, three raindrops, and you know what? They can even go closer to the bottom of my paper. So there we go. Now, if it is raining, I might also need to have a cloud. And so what I did for my cloud, and Miss Jennifer's just going to change her paper so that I have more room to draw. For my cloud, I just used my curved line and I kind of just connected it together and then put curves on the inside. So if you want to do that, you can. So there is my cloud. Now I also want to make lightning. And if you remember when we made our lightning, we used that zigzag line. So I'm going to use purple. I want mine to be colorful. And again, zigzag. And then zigzag. And I kind of did that really fancy. So watch this. I did one side. And then I went up. And I just followed the zigzags till I got to the top. And I think that I want my lightning, you know what? I think I want my lightning coming off from the side of my paper. Just like this. Now, could you hear that lightning? No. What comes before that lightning that you could hear? Thunder. Good job. And you might also want to put some dash lines inside, just like this. Now I know that my cloud needs to be sort of a dark, heavy cloud if it's going to rain. So I could go back and I could put some of those dashes inside of my cloud. And you know what? Even if you want the outside part to be black, you could trace around your blue line. Maybe you even want a little bit of the black and some of the raindrops that are in the top of your sky. Good job. All right, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use some different colors. And now I want to add some colors to my wind. I want to just have a really colorful, windy day. Because if you remember, Vincent Van Gogh used lots of little patches of color right close to each other. And he used, let's see if Jennifer can get the glare off. He used different colors. Right, so there we go. Another thing that Van Gogh had in his picture was a moon. And so if you want to add a moon, that would be a curved line with another curved line inside, and that is like a crescent moon. And why not? Miss Jennifer's going to put a crescent moon right here. Now notice, I didn't use dash lines for everything. I used my straight lines and my zigzag lines also, and my curved lines on my picture. So you don't have to just have dashes. All right. So maybe my moon is yellow, so maybe I can color in my moon yellow. Maybe I have some yellow around the outside of my moon. And notice that I simply was just kind of scribbling around my moon. What else? Could we add maybe some stars? Sure, could. We could add a circle, we could add some dashes or a circle, and we could add just a circle around it. And so I want just a few on my picture. Your pictures are looking really nice, boys and girls. All right, so now I think that I am finished with my markers, and now I want to start using my colors. And so the next thing that you're going to do is you're going to start coloring. And you can color your picture pretty much any color that you want. Just remember that we have the stormy kind of picture going on, and so you're going to need maybe some colors that are a little darker in your sky. So here I can add some blue around my picture, and maybe some blue going down to the ground. I could maybe use some light blue. Maybe I could add some light blue to my lightning. Maybe even I could add some more purple. So while you're coloring, you can add the colors that you would like. Maybe my cloud needs to be a little light black. Remember, this is coloring really dark. This is coloring really light. Awesome. My wind can also have other colors if you want. Maybe I could add some red, and maybe I could just sort of color like squiggly in a circle, just like this. And that will add some color to my wind. Alright, so we have our Starry Night. Now, the next thing that I want you to do is I want you to get your piece of construction paper. Also, the glue that you're going to be using, either your glue stick or your bottle of glue. And I want you to add some glue. Now, we don't need a whole lot. Maybe you just glue in the middle. And we're going to now glue our construction paper right there, right along the bottom, because the next thing that we're doing is we're going to be making shelter. Remember, in bad weather, we need places to stay safe, and one important place is inside of a house or a building. In Van Gogh's picture, he has lots of houses and buildings at the bottom of his picture. And so here we go. That is going to be my house. Now I'm going to use my black marker, and here's my house. I want to add maybe 2 rectangles for the windows. So here's one, and here's another. And maybe I even want to add some lines to make it look like the inside of windows. Now, how am I going to get inside that house, boys and girls? A door. Awesome. And there we go. That could be our door. Now, we're missing something on the top of our house. What do we need on the top of our house? If you said a roof, good job. We need a roof. So what we're going to do is we're going to draw the top of a triangle on top of our house. So here we go, up and down. Now, we just added construction paper to our drawing. By doing that, we just made a collage. A collage in art is when you add different things to a picture, like you glue things on top of it, and you start to have more than just a drawing going on in your picture. So we just started a collage. Let's say that word together. Collage. Good job. By gluing things onto your picture, we turned it into a collage. And then the next thing you're going to do is you're going to color in that triangle, and we're going to color that roof. Now your roof could be any color, black or brown, maybe gray. And so there we go. Now Miss Jennifer kind of colored over one of my raindrops, but that's okay. It's just fine. All right, and so there you go. If you want, you can even maybe color in your door. You could add different colors to your house. If you also want, you can maybe add a little square and color it in, and you can maybe make a little chimney with our little dash lines. And so I want you to go ahead and I want you to spend more time coloring your picture. You can pretty much add any colors that you want. Just keeping in mind that you might want your sky to be a darker color because we do have bad weather going on in our picture. And so I want to also maybe add some black to my sky to show that it is a bad storm. And I am staying safe where, boys and girls? In my house. Good job. So I hope that if you have bad weather, that you find a place like your house to go in and be safe in, and wait until the weather is better before you play in the rain or even maybe play in the snow. And so I'm going to add just a little bit more black. And for my tree, I could even add some more green. Maybe I could even take my black marker and I can add some lines to my tree. Alright, so we're out of time for coloring today, but I want you to go ahead and color your picture when you have time. So today, we created our own Starry Night picture. We learned about severe weather. We talked about an artist named Vincent Van Gogh. We also talked about a work of art that he did named Starry Night. We took some of that bad weather that you learned about and we added it to our own Starry Night today. We added spirals and wind and lots of different things to our picture. I want you to go ahead and spend some more time coloring your picture when you have time. I want you to make sure that you take your picture and show it to your family and friends. Maybe you can even tell them about your picture. Until next time, keep making art.